So this popped up on my news feed, and I couldn't not look into it because taxpayers just keep paying the criminals. Feel free to get another job because, holy crap, East Lyme Police Chief under protective order in domestic violence case can return home. Okay. Suspended East Lyme Police Chief Michael Finkelstein can return to his residence after a state superior court judge partially modified a protective order against him in connection with a domestic violence incident. If it's an incident, it must be a big deal. It is not for them. The rest of the protective order still stands. Says Alex, facing 3 pending criminal cases, cannot have guns while his cases are pending, cannot use substances that are not prescribed to him, and cannot stalk, harass, threaten, or abuse the victim in this case. The victim in this case is his wife, and you would think that a police chief would know that they shouldn't be stalking, threatening, harassing, or abusing a victim anyway. Anyway, he's not scheduled to return to court until July 28th, 2025. Why is that important? I'm going to show you here in a minute. When his cases are slated to be dismissed if he successfully completes a family violence program. The court granted Finkelstein the program in July, requiring him to attend family violence education classes. He was a police chief. It is not surprising to anybody. Since East Lyme cases are prosecuted at the State Superior Court in New London, his 3 criminal cases were moved to State Superior Court in Middleton to avoid a conflict of interest. Were they? No, it was for show. Nothing's going to happen to him. That way they don't got to take the heat. He has been suspended and on paid leave since early June 2024, that is, when he was accused of punching a woman during an argument over his cell phone. He is charged with disorderly conduct and second-degree breach of peace in the incident. Now, he allegedly punched a woman during an argument over the phone. Charged with disorderly conduct, breach of peace. What about assault and battery under the color of law? Did he have his firearm on? I mean, there's all kinds of other charges that you and I would be charged with had we had done the same thing. Just throwing that out there. The suspended police chief then was arrested a second time and charged with disorderly conduct based on a 2023 incident. While reviewing his history for prior domestic violence incidents, investigators found body camera footage showing East Lyme police officers telling the same victim she would have to call state police on her own after Finkelstein allegedly grabbed the woman and hit her with a small remote control during an argument in 2023, according to police. Now, I believe this one, they keep saying a woman, remote control. I've read this and watched this. I believe this is his wife. And they're like, don't call us, call somebody else. He was also charged with making a false statement and violating a protective order. Wow, that'd be jail time for anybody else. He's a chief, though. Don't worry about him. He'll be all right. When police went to serve Finkelstein the first arrest warrant and take possession of his firearms, he told troopers the only weapon he had was his department-issued 9mm handgun. He later admitted another firearm was in the home. He was accused of violating a protective order by showing up at his home to turn over that gun. Later admitted to firearm in the home. And he is accused of violating a protective order by showing up at his home to turn over the gun, according to the arrest warrant. Okay, so you lied to the troopers, the ones with the big dickhead hats. Why wasn't he arrested for impeding an investigation, hindering delay, anyway? Since his original arrest, he has undergone 56 days of inpatient therapy and engaged in individual outpatient therapy and group therapy, his attorney John Nazaro told the judge during Tuesday's proceedings. Finkelstein quietly stood next to Nazaro as the judge agreed to remove the residential stay-away protection of the protective order put in place after his arrest in early June. His attorney said outside the courtroom that his client wants to return as police chief, and he would be discussing the status of the court cases with the town's labor attorney. He has indicated his desire to return as soon as possible to his duties. You can't make this up. Has not been contacted by attorney who was hired by the town to conduct an internal affairs investigation to the incidents that promoted the arrest. So he's arrested at least 3 times. We're about to find out here in a little bit. And he still wants to be police chief because why not? I mean, he's already been arrested. He's done his diversion program. It's total bullshit. He probably did none of that. They just told you he did it. The town in late July hired to investigate after Connecticut State Police backed out, citing concerns that the town officials speak publicly. Newspaper in New London about several officers being under scrutiny. Wow. They were like, you know what? I got some shit in my background that might come out, so we're gonna pass this along. That's what they do. They hide and cover. That is all they do anymore. Since then, Finkelstein again drew fire from town officials when on August 16th he arrived at the scene where a man was believed to be suicidal in the area of Cedar Ridge Golf Course. Still was on paid leave and stripped of his police powers and guns when the incident occurred. How many times he got to have his guns taken away? They take them away, and then when the camera turned off, they give them back to him. They say, shh, don't tell nobody. And then some more shit happened, and they're like, damn, here we go again. According to a police report, officers heard dispatch call for a man who potentially had a rifle and wanted to do himself harm. As police were responding to the call, Finkelstein called and then texted one of the officers who was headed to the scene, report said. He texted that he was in the area and could see the man. The officer who Finkelstein called and texted did not answer the suspended chief, report said. When the officer and others arrived, they saw Finkelstein talking to the man, which forced them to change their tactics on how they're going to deal with the situation. Told responding officers that the man didn't have a gun, and then he left. The officers were able to confirm that the man had been suicidal days before but sought emergency treatment, no longer considered harmful. Asked whether it was okay, did not identify. The man told East Lyme Police that Finkelstein merely asked whether he was okay and did not identify himself as a police officer. Probably because he would have said his name, they'd have been like, hey, are you even supposed to be doing this? And he'd have been like, I got to go. He did not respond to a call, said he heard a broadcast form in the app available to the public. He has no police radio. You don't have to have a police radio. Technically, anybody, you can get an app, you can hear police radio traffic anywhere. You can pull it up on your phone. Contends his client happened to be in the area and moved in to make sure the man was okay. He did not identify himself as a police officer. 3 days later, he was subject of an emergency police commission meeting, but he was not notified of the meeting. According to the minutes of the meeting, no action was taken after executive decision took place, but in an email, Finkelstein said in response to the chief providing a written statement about what occurred, Police Commission Chair Price told the suspended chief that his actions were unacceptable and dangerous. So he was subject of an emergency police commission meeting, but then he said he won't notified of it. Lies more. That's all they do. Lie. They're all criminals. They are all. Used to be a few bad apples. Now it's like, where are all the good apples? And why aren't the good apples stopping the bad apples? There aren't any good ones. And if there are, feel free to show me and point that out. While on paid administrative leave, you are not to be on Elpd premises. Police Department, East Lyme Police Department premises. You are not to exercise police power or conduct police business of any kind, including and especially responding to police calls. Price said in the email, you'd think that'd be common sense. Anyway, that's on that one. Now, let's go to see what's up with remains on leave. This was November 24. The cost to the town of keeping embattled police chief Michael Finkelstein on the books during his administrative leave has exceeded $100,000. He has been off with pay for 149 days. A large part of the expense to date comes from $69,523 in weekly salary payments Finkelstein received as chief and emergency management director. Hold up. A large part of the expense to date comes from $69,523 in weekly salary payments. That must be a total. Finkelstein has received as chief and emergency management director since he was placed on leave in June. So the emergency management director, has he lost any of that? That's ridiculous that you got some criminal that are in these positions. That's when he was arrested by state police and charged with disorderly conduct and second-degree breach of peace in relation to allegations of domestic violence made by his wife. He was subsequently arrested 2 more times on charges stemming from the initial investigation. He is currently in Superior Court diversion program. We already read about that. Next summer, dismiss the charges if he finishes it. Internal investigation, allegations, East Lyme Police Department ongoing. No deadline has been disclosed. Conducted by the Law Group. Finance Department numbers. Invoice shows town so far spent $28,352 on his legal fees, including $14,815 for internal affairs investigations to date. Most of the remainder has been paid out to town attorneys with the Waller, Smith & Palmer firm and to Nicholas Garello, the town's labor. Now, I know I'm going to butcher these names, but I don't care. The point is, you can't make this up. He is a criminal and attorney. Taxpayers are paying for his legal fees. They're going to pay for his diversion programs. They're going to pay for his rehabilitation, his restoration. They're going to pay everything. Nothing's going to happen to him. Also billed is about $1,795 billed by Waller, Smith, and so forth for time spent advising the town how to deal with the numerous Freedom of Information requests for details about his arrest and internal affairs investigation, many of which have gone unfulfilled. So, not only are the taxpayers paying for all this bullshit and legal defense and diversion programs, they're paying this law firm to hide information that's supposed to be Freedom of Information Act. Supposed to be for people to be able to go and get this information. Oh, well, you can go get it. They'll put it behind a paywall. And here in North Carolina, it's behind a court order. If you do not have a court order and you're not a party to it, you cannot get any body cam or dash cam. They need to change that shit. The town also spent $4,581 in the early days of his leave for a rental car that the department issued SUV was taken away. The move was based on the stipulation of his employment contract that he be provided with a vehicle. What did it stipulate in the employment contract? That if he is charged with a bunch of crimes, that he doesn't get any of that? Oh, they don't put that in there because they know some shit's going to happen and some shit's going to go down, but they ain't going to take nothing and nothing's going to happen to him. The town subsequently let him use an older cruiser from the town fleet. Taxpayer pay for it. He is entitled to fill it up with gas at the town's fuel depot, but figures remain unavailable on the amount of gas he's used so far as the town unrolls a new monitoring system. Okay, well, I'll tell you how it worked, or how it used to work here in North Carolina. When my husband was in law enforcement, he would roll up to their little area where they filled up all the government vehicles. He'd call in with his badge number, and he would call in with the time and the mileage, and he would tell them that he's going to fill it up. And he would fill it up, and he'd radio back with his badge and the time and how much he put in there, and they still had the mileage, so they could go. And every time they did that, and it is logged, all you got to do, and then of course the little secretary in there, she got to transcribe all that shit, but you can go back and look, and it is right there. This is how much gas he put in there this day. This is how much gas they put in here this day. This is how much. Wait, he only went these amount of miles, because every time you transport somebody or you're going somewhere, you call in with your badge number, your time and mileage, and then when you get to where you're going, you call in with your badge number, time and mileage. And other than riding around and looking, I mean, it don't take a genius to figure out how much they're using. The Board of Finance in August budgeted an extra $50,000 to cover anticipated fees involving his fallout, bringing the total line into the public safety legal expenses of $62,000. Acting Chief Michael Makes, I'm about to look into him too. Pay per union contract matches his, Finkelstein's, $150,000 $13 salary. Macic, however you pronounce it, previously made $101,000 $67 as a lieutenant. The added pay for, this is the interim chief, means the town has incurred about $15,000 in additional costs due to Finkelstein's leave. Now let's not forget, he's making his money, and this one's still on paid leave. East Lyme Board of Police Commissioners Chair Dan Price in a Friday statement said the decision about his status are dependent on the results of the internal affairs investigation, are they? Understand the frustration this may cause. Assure our community that the Commission is fully committed to a thorough and fair assessment of the facts and will continue to work diligently to bring the matter to a resolution as soon as possible. Really? Because you're going to try to hide shit? You're going to hope something bigger is going to pop up, and then this will be completely forgot about, and next thing you know, he will probably still be a police chief. First arrested following an alleged altercation on June 3rd that left his wife with a bloody nose and a bruised chest. He was ultimately charged over the course of 3 arrests with 1 count of breach of peace and 2 counts of disorderly conduct for the alleged domestic dispute with his wife that she later recanted. He was also charged with violation of protective order, which is a felony, and with making false statement for not turning over all of the guns following the initial arrest. So she recanted her statement. I wonder if she recanted her statement because when they left, he beat her again or threatened to beat her again. Because I have looked for any body cam footage of any of them thugs talking to his wife, and I have found none of it. So let's see.
Just goes off on things for no reason. Today there was no reason for it. It's just the cycle of up and down, and today it was just one of those things where she went off tonight and started yelling, screaming. There's nothing I can even explain to her. Yeah. But I didn't grab her face, didn't do any of that stuff. Yeah, I was in the car.
Yelling, screaming. I didn't grab her face. I didn't do any of that. Okay, where's she at?
When you got out of the car, I took the car for a ride because you saw it, right? Yeah. I was like, I'm just going to get out of here. I'm going to get away from the situation.
Body camera released by Connecticut State Police shows interaction with officers from his department during 2 domestic incidents at his home. Other footage shows a later interview at State Police Barracks. I'm not sure if that one's in here or not. It might be that second one up there. The day is anyway, so from his department, so there's you can't make this up. It should be Highway Patrol. It should be anybody that he is not the chief of police over. You can't make this up.
And you want us, if we leave now, everything good? Or is she going to...
Well, I couldn't
obviously, it's my suggestion.
Also redacted, and then they blur out, and then a lot of shit. I thought I put another one up that all this isn't blurred out of, but anyway.
You said you're going to take it.
You can still tell what it is. It's him sitting there. I think it's his son or somebody, and then a big fat cop walks through. That's probably why they blurred it out. They didn't want you to see the big fat cop.
I tried leaving.
That's him right there.
Yeah,
no. Saw me. You got somewhere you can go? I'm from Motel 6.
No, I wouldn't go there. You've been there in a while. Yeah, I would...
Actually, we have a accommodation for cell 2.
How'd you get no blood on your left hand though?
Burning from her nose. Huh? From her nose, because she was all up in front of me.
Okay.
No, she was all like...
Okay, all right.
How do you describe it? Like, she gets...
Typical. The abuser always blaming the victim. That should be a clue that he is full of shit. And this one got a look on his face like, shit, here we go again with this idiot. Can we ever get rid of him? You can't. You can't get rid of the corrupt ones.
Intense and she gets in your face. Mm-hmm. And she had at that point it was like trickling down her chin.
Okay.
And I put my hand up because she was like jumping on me and I was just get away from me.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Quite the position here. So yeah, sorry. Well, I think sorry.
I don't think there's any training or experience for this kind of interaction.
Training and experience. We don't have any training and experience for arresting corrupt cops because we almost never do it. That's how corrupt we are.
Yeah,
he just agreed.
Exactly. What I would suggest is you call my girlie and just say, "This is what happened."
Yeah.
And take it out of your hands.
Okay.
So he wants them to call whomever he just said and lie.
So I'd almost rather have you sit in your car. Really? I mean, it's just the last thing you need is a nosy neighbor or someone stupid taking a photo.
A nosy neighbor or someone stupid. He is the chief of police. You have a right. His interaction, anything he's doing outside of his house, all of them should be live streamed 24 hours a day. You pay for that.
I guess there's an incident last Father's Day on June 18th. Is that something that you want to talk to us about, or?
It was a verbal disagreement.
Okay.
And no, there's nothing that happened.
So, she didn't say that, you like twisted her arm or you jabbed her in the nose with a remote
Leading the witness, can we stop? Ask him a question and let his dumbass talk.
control or anything?
Not that I know of.
No? Okay. What if I were to tell you that we have the body cam video?
There is no body cam video.
You sure about that? Do you want to give us a statement about this?
Well, if there is body cam video, we'd like to see it. Where is the body cam video? He looks like he's pretty sure he probably deleted it and burnt it, got rid of any body cam.
No? Very good. Okay.
Yeah, I know. I mean, this, again, it's whatever.
So that's what we're going to stick with then, is you don't remember what the argument was about.
What he's saying is, that's your story and you're sticking to it, because when you go to court, it's going to be, were you lying then or are you lying now?
She called because your daughter's finger got clipped in a car seat.
Did you see
she called? And she called.
Did you see the CAD report? What does it say? Finger laceration on a child.
Okay.
That's what she said.
Sure. Come on in.
Mike, how's it going?
All right. That's what she said.
Okay.
Finger laceration on a child.
Sure.
All right, listen. The body camera footage that we have, okay, you of not allowing her to drive to a police department.
That's not what she was doing. That's not what she...
Listen, in the body camera, I'm telling you what she said.
Now he's thinking, wait, body camera, I got to get out here before they put me in jail. They won't.
Goodbye.
See? They just let him, okay, just go ahead and leave. We got the truth here. We're trying to get to the bottom of it, but you just go ahead and leave.
We walk out.
I know where I'm going. I've been here long enough.
Well, yeah, you still can't walk around unsupervised in a police department.
Okay.
And state police barracks.
Well, good. Sorry about that.
Right here.
Get out. Alright,
This
hold up.
goes off on things.
Hold up. Got this one.
When we say we create personalized
Can we-
hair care products, we mean truly personalized formulas that take into
Stop.
account every
I
little
told you to stop.
We begin in East Lyme.
Yeah, we don't stop. We're doing this one. Oh my lord, can we? No, the internet's gonna sit here and be a pain in the complete ass.
6, we're digging into the criminal case against East Lyme's police chief.
Chief Michael Finkelstein was rearrested.
Yeah, that's what I was just looking at. Following re-arrest. How many? 3 strikes and you're out? Doubtful.
Getting counseling out of state. He's still collecting a paycheck and
Of
will
course he
soon
is.
get a pay raise.
Channel 3 New London Bureau Chief
You
Luke Hydash.
can't make this up. I want to know how many people can be arrested, rearrested, and keep drawing a paycheck from their job. How many people are not fired when you're arrested and you are in trouble with the law and, oh my lord, you can't make it up.
Just breaking down the numbers and asking people why. All non-union East Lyme Town employees will get a raise Monday, a 5.25% raise, including Chief Finkelstein. So will the acting chief. 2 chief salaries, 1 chief job.
One so corrupt, we're going to put him on the sidelines and still pay him. Excuse me. We're going to bring in an interim police chief and we're just going to pay him too, because holy shit, this has come to light, and until it did, nobody knew about it, but here we are.
Won't take any
You can't
action
make it up.
until we know how those matters are resolved.
East Lyme Police Chief Michael Finkelstein's arrest is costing taxpayers. He's on paid leave, and the plan is to keep it that way until all investigations end.
We'll let the criminal process work its way through the system. There'll be the 2 internal affairs investigations.
First Selectman Dan Cunningham says there's a lot at play, and giving pay can help avoid a lawsuit. Finkelstein has a contract with the town through June 30th, 2026.
2026. It's going to exceed $100,000. He's going to get the pay. He's going to get the company car. He's going to get the gas. He's going to get a per diem for his cell phone. Probably a couple $100 a month for that. He's going to get a clothing allowance. It is ridiculous the amount of bullshit going on in law enforcement anymore. I've said it before. My husband was in law enforcement back in the day. He was in the Marine Corps back in the day, and he worked for the Department of Corrections back in the day. And this shit, oh my lord, they could not wait to drag you into the office and grill you about whatever the complaint was and get rid of you and bring some new ones in. Law enforcement used to be difficult. Now it is just, holy shit, it's a free ride on the taxpayer dime. Didn't used to be like this. It is pitiful what law enforcement, the military, and the Department of Corrections has become over just the last 10 years. It's sad.
Right now, he makes $142,530.
So this one isn't even correct from a few months ago. It said exceed 100,000. So, and then he's going to get a raise, and he's still going to get all his extra shit and per diems and
$30 a year as police chief. Monday, that'll be bumped up to more than $150,000. Around the same time, acting chief Lieutenant Mike Masick will earn the same.
The most important thing to me is the well-being, the safety of the citizens of East Lyme.
Is it really? Because the Supreme Court has said law enforcement has no duty to protect you. You know what law enforcement does have a duty to? Extort you for every dime you got. You go 2 miles an hour over the speed limit, or you don't come to a complete stop at a stop sign, or you put your left turn signal on and it's on for too long, or you don't put your right turn signal on soon enough and you make a turn. Every time a seatbelt violation, total bullshit. Back in the day, there weren't even seatbelts in cars. It wasn't until even the 80s in North Carolina that a seatbelt, might have been late 80s or early 90s, that a seatbelt was even mandatory, and then they couldn't wait to start writing some fucking tickets for that. They didn't care. Most law enforcement then didn't even wear seatbelts. Used to be law enforcement, at least from my experience, didn't write you a ticket for the same shit they were doing. They're like, oh, well, you don't have a seatbelt on. Just giving you a heads up, you know, the laws change, and the Highway Patrol now, that was a different story. And they would tell you if Highway Patrol sees you, and I grew up at the beach in Sioux City, and once in a while you'd see Highway Patrol down there. It wasn't a lot. There was a couple of them that lived down there in the area. But, and even if the ones that were from the area didn't harass you, but now if you got into like Wilmington and Jacksonville, that was a different story. But on the beach and in the area, the cops didn't bother the locals. Highway Patrol didn't bother the locals. They would stop and they'd be like, yo, you know, you're going a little bit fast. Can we slow it down? You don't have a seatbelt on. Just know when you get into Wilmington and when you get into Jacksonville, you know, them troopers are going to be a little more. They got them big dickhead hats, and most of them really wear that as a badge of honor. But for the most part, just law enforcement wasn't like this. We need to go back to when law enforcement actually gave a shit.
Finkelstein is facing a slew of charges related to domestic calls at his home, rearrested and served with 2 new warrants just Monday. He left Middletown Court to go to counseling out of state, heading out in a rental car paid for by the town to the tune of $2,754 a month.
Now, when they say town, they mean taxpayers. The town don't have a lemonade stand. They don't sell cookies to make money. Taxpayers pay for all this. So when your property taxes go up, when your cost of living goes up, just remember all the criminal law enforcement that needs more of your money.
As his department vehicle sits at the police station. What do you think the odds are he keeps his job at the end of the month?
I'm not going to speculate.
Finkelstein is East Lyme's first police chief on the job since May 1st, 2017. He also serves as the emergency management director, earning more than $22,000 a year for that. And
he's not going to comment on that because he don't want the people to know that a bigger criminal than the criminals they're putting in jail is the actual police chief. You can't make this shit up.
Monday, that will increase too, putting his total yearly salary at more than $173,000.
I want to get it right. I want to be fair.
Finkelstein has applied to a family violence diversionary program, hoping to get his charges dropped. He's due back in Middletown Court next month to find out if he's allowed into the course.
You know why? Because he wants to get all the charges dropped, and then he wants him to go back and take that completely off his record so he can continue to be the police chief. You cannot make this up. There's another article. I didn't put it up here. Anyway, feel free to go look his dumb ass up. Let me know what you think about it. Like, share, subscribe. Here in about 12 seconds, I'm going to be out of here.
No word as to when any of these criminal and internal investigations into Finkelstein will wrap up, but First Selectman Cunningham says expect it to be months. In East Lyme, Luke.
Of course expect it to be months. Hell, this was 6 months ago, and I haven't found anything new on it, so probably in a year they might decide to think about it. Anyway, I'm out.
Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
So we're clear on what an asshole this chief is. Here's his interaction with Highway Patrol.
I'm telling you what she said. Bye-bye. All right, goodbye.
Right now at 6, we are getting new body cam video from the night embattled East Lyme Police Chief Mike Finkelstein was arrested.
This all stems from June of 2023 when police say arguments with his wife turned physical. Your reporter in New London County is Luke Hydash. He's been covering this case from the start. He's live in East Lyme with this new video. Luke.
Irene, Stephanie, we recently got hours worth of this video from the Connecticut State Police, and it shows everything from when Finkelstein is placed in handcuffs at his home to when he's brought to Troop K in Colchester to be booked.
Hey, unfortunately, we have to watch one for
I want you to watch what a complete asshole he is. I mean, I get it. Highway Patrol, normally they're not in casual Friday. They're in uniform with their dickhead hats, but still, this chief, this is just proof nothing happens to him.
This is the best way to do it, isn't it? Yeah, we consider other ways, but we'd rather not do it at your work.
3 state troopers show up to serve a warrant on Michael Finkelstein last June. This new body camera video shows it all. At times, Finkelstein is confrontational.
Yep, the policy, I still got a cuff on the back and everything. That's what's turned around for me. It's not your policy, but okay, cool.
Now he's going to tell Highway Patrol their policy. Looks like this one actually has a semi. Can't tell if those are actually. They might. Yeah, he's actually in uniform. Only thing missing, dickhead hat. Probably because he's trying not to look so mean and official. Because this is the chief. Chief is a complete asshole.
You don't respect it's not your policy. You don't handcuff your policy, so you gotta do it. But when I transport you, we have to handcuff you behind the back. You don't actually, but okay. Hey, I'll teach you your own policies a little bit.
Even argumentative.
So it's breached and disorderly? They did breach and disorderly, yeah. For what? Just the whole incident overall. So in my own house, whose peace was breached.
And other times is calm and quiet, silent in fact, as he's riding in the passenger seat of a cruiser, handcuffed, being brought to Troop K in Colchester to be booked.
Okay, trying to figure out how he gonna wiggle his way out of it. He knows probably ain't nothing gonna happen to him.
Right to remain silent.
Right now, Finkelstein is facing charges of disorderly conduct, breach of peace, violation of a protective order, and giving a false statement. Some of this relating to arguments with his wife, police say turned physical. Others over a gun, police say wasn't properly disclosed to them. In the video, Finkelstein is booked. Eventually, he bonds out, and he's been off the job on paid leave ever since. The town has hired an outside law firm to conduct an investigation. Finkelstein's labor attorney tells us commenting on the body camera video would be premature, but says portions of the body camera footage were part of the internal investigation review. We are anxiously awaiting the final investigative report.
That's why I was surprised that you could find any of it, because they'll say it's an ongoing investigation. We can't release it. It's total bullshit. It is total bullshit. They have what they need at this point. That there is no reason. Well, the only reason they don't want to release it is because they don't want public knowing how criminal law enforcement is.
We learned Friday the town hopes to have that report back by the end of the month. There were other times that officers from here in East Lyme responded to Finkelstein's home as well. We have requested that body camera footage, but not received it quite yet. As far as Finkelstein on the court side of things, he's due back in court much later this year. He has applied for it is in a diversion program, which means his charges could eventually be dropped.
Anyway, let me know what you think. Dogs are barking. They're inside. It's not outside. Okay, like, share, subscribe, and I am out.
Your reporter live in East Lyme tonight, Luke Hydash, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.